Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Amit Zavery.
Good morning, everyone. Hope you all are having a good open world so far. This is probably one of my best sessions which I enjoyed the most, given that we get a chance to showcase to you guys all the new cool stuff we're doing at Oracle in our product team. So we've been working quite aggressively and looking at how the evolution of technology is coming together. And today, as many of you know, you operate the best you can with the best tools you have. Things do work very well, but with the AI and ML and things in terms of the amount of data being generated, really the processes can be improved drastically. You can improve the experiences you have and things you provide to your customers and users, as well as automate a lot of the operations. And that could allow you to really do things in a much better way, right? You can have a better sense and respond in terms of how you interact with your users, personalize the content, personalize the interactions. You can provide real-time assistance, of course, with augmented experiences. Do better data discovery, as well as improve the developer productivity in terms of how you build your applications as well. And the automating operations, specifically around this idea of self-driving, self-securing, and self-repairing, where the systems do operate in automated fashion, is becoming very, very critical as well. So systems with all the technologies we are building in can really make a big difference now. So the pace of innovation, of course, in all these areas is pretty fast. And at Oracle, we have made sure that we keep on learning from it, as well as investing in each and every area. So today, we'll go through five key areas. One around immersive experiences, digital assistants, AI and data science, trusted transactions, and visual development, and give you an idea of what we are doing at Oracle, what some of our customers are experiencing with this, and the investments we are making, and see how we can help you with your business processes as well as technologies you guys are investing in as well. So with the first one, immersive experiences, I think if you are familiar with how people are starting to interact with a lot of this augmented reality and virtual reality, the next generation experiences are going to be very different than the way you interact today with your phones and smartphones. You are going to be able to use a lot of good, cool interfaces and be able to interact with the objects and systems in a much better way than you could do today. And our goal at Oracle has been to really make sure in our products we bring content live with augmented reality so that you can embed that into the experiences you create for your users. You can build mobile apps with augmented reality as well, where the objects and other things can be recognized easily. When you point to it, you can interact much better way. So your same applications you're building, you can easily augment that with all these new experiences as well. If you look at what iPhone is doing with iOS, they're adding that as part of their libraries, which you can now expose through the mobile app. So we are interacting with those in our development tools as well. Another area which is becoming very popular for manufacturers and people who build devices is to be able to build a digital twin, where you can now replicate a particular large manufacturing engine or other devices and see and simulate what data changes could happen to it before anything goes wrong with those devices as well. And then the whole immersive UI visualization as part of our Visual Builder tool. When you're building an application through some of this drag and drop, we can again add those very quickly. Few things we announced at OpenWorld over the last few days is around this whole idea of features around content and experience cloud, where we're adding a lot of rich asset repository, where you can syndicate first and third-party assets. You can also dynamically do taxonomy and metadata discovery and connect those things together. Automatic tagging and classification. So again, all the different information you have, you can keep on collecting and building and creating your new next-generation experience with that. And then we're adding a lot of information and content to the repository so that you can, again, use that in your new next-generation user experience. To make this live, let me have Dave Ingram from our product team show you all the cool ways of building these applications and how you can really work on this. Welcome, Dave.
Thank you, Amit.
All right, go ahead.
So the world of the not-too-distant future, we're going to be interacting with devices like these. You know, we can put this on and we can see absolutely everything around us can become interactive, can become digital. And there's many things about this that are different. There's a lot of user interfaces we have to discover. There's a lot of ways that we have to think differently as businesses about how we interact with customers, with brands, internally, externally, all of this. And to talk about how this comes to life, we're going to take something fairly old school. We're going to look at a magazine and how this physical device can come into our digital worlds. And this could be a billboard, this could be something on a screen, this could be a product that we're looking at right now. And so imagine I've got a tire magazine, so let's imagine we're looking for some tires for our vehicle. And I'm going to, I can't quite use those glasses for augmented reality yet. I wish. We're going to use an iPad to demonstrate this. And bring it up there. So we're doing all this live. Say hi, everybody. And what we're going to do is we're going to come over to this magazine, and I'm going to start flipping through it, and I'm going to find an advertisement. And when that advertisement comes up, you see I get a tire right there on it. And it's attached to that image, so I can move that around, see it. I can interact with this. I can spin it around. I can make it bigger, smaller. And you see all of the different text and images and overlays. All of that shows up here. Now, if I want to not look at it in a magazine, because again, we're in the real world, this is augmented reality, so I can come over here on the stage, say my car was over here, or there we go, found a surface, and I can move it around right here. I can walk around this. If I weren't tethered, I would get further. We can look around this way. We see both sides of it, see the treads, all of that, and examine these same things. And I see this on my car. It looks great. Maybe I put 4 of them there. I can walk around it. I love the color. I love the brand. It's a perfect fit. And I can come in and I can purchase this right here. So I click there. It adds it to my shopping cart, tied into the back end commerce systems, and all of this just works. And it's in this immersive world. It's where I am. It's where I see the product, and I go and work with that. Now, the business problem that we have here, at least one of them, obviously there's detecting planes and there's building 3D models. There's some new things that we need to learn there. But one of the biggest things that we have to continue to do, and it's the same with every channel, whether it's a website or whether it's a augmented reality experience or a chatbot or anything like that, we still have the business problem of keeping our content fresh. And with Content and Experience Cloud from Oracle, that's what we can do. So we see here, we were just looking at this ad down here in the right, but I've actually started another one here, and I'm going to come in here. We're going to look at what goes into building an experience like this. And it's stuff we're familiar with. It's text, it's files, it's structure, so we have names, we have product names, we have SKUs linking to the commerce system, we have descriptions, we have product information, we have ratings, we have thumbnails, all of this, we have links. All of these types of things we can manage inside of Content and Experience Cloud to be able to push to all sorts of channels. What's new here is we're also managing a 3D model. So we can manage different types of files, we can manage all of that in here. And if I come in and I want to publish this content item now, all I have to do is wait for the Wi-Fi to load my screen again. We haven't solved that problem yet. There it is. And I can come in and I can publish this. And one of the things that we have to deal with in today's world is we're not just taking a content asset and pushing it to a website like we used to. We can publish to all sorts of different channels. And from this interface, I can publish to augmented reality applications, I can publish to websites, I can publish to digital assistants, I can publish to all of that. And then all I have to do is validate and publish this asset. And when it goes live, I can just simply come over here, and I've already printed my new ad that's loaded there. And we can switch back over here, flip through the magazine, and of course, there's a new tire, new information, all of that, and I can purchase that one if it fits for me as well. So new experiences, old problems, and we're driving all of our tools to be able to help with those in the future as well.
Thanks, Dave. This is amazing. Be careful.
There it goes.
All right. I think we need to do some.
That was mine. It's OK.
You need this, or?
No.
OK. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you, Amit.
All right, so you just saw how well we can now interact and interface into a lot of these next generation applications. Second thing we're seeing a lot of demand nowadays is around digital assistant. And this is something which is pretty much real now, where we have close to what data we've been seeing, around 46% of North America users use digital assistants. 54% agree that they find it very valuable and makes their life easier. And we see that ballooning very fast as well, around 1.8 billion assistant users by 2021. And the market size for this around 16 billion by 2021 as well. And everybody's familiar with voice systems like Alexa and Siri. But a lot of the backend systems like Slack and all the channels you interact with, like Facebook Messenger, is really where most of the users want to interact with today because you're used to those interfaces as well. But the challenges you face today when you're trying to make digital assistant work in your environment, one is the knowledge around diversity of the domains. How do you use that information? What are the specific domains you want to get data from? And how do you make sure the information you're getting is relevant to the user and you can now cater to the specific intent a user has? The complexity around implementation is pretty high, especially in the enterprise cases. Security, roles, access, privileges, as well as making sure that you have ability to give the data on real time to all the users who require it. And then there's a lot of underlying technologies around AI and ML, especially around natural language processing, speech to text, and all the different channels. So a lot of work needs to go to build and make it pervasive across all the applications as well. At Oracle, we've been, again, investing quite a lot in this area. A couple of years ago, we launched chatbots at OpenWorld. And what has happened now is the evolution of chatbot has kind of become more around digital assistants, where we can take context from different chatbots and combine them together and really follow the user in terms of what they want to do on a day-to-day basis and provide them the skills they need through a digital assistant as well. So the immersive user engagement, where you can now have knowledge domain and proactive engagement. Enterprise ready, really making sure that all your backend applications, ERP, CRM, HCM systems, are also connected back to this assistance as well, so that you can have one common experience across all of them and you don't have to go to individual chatbots for interacting with them as well. And then of course, we want to make sure that the AI is embedded in there, so it's all built in. The intent of the users can be easily understood, and you keep on learning as the usage keeps on going up. So we have built a lot of third-party integrations to different channels. A lot of skills been available where people are adding to the skill store. And then, of course, we connect through all the back-end application, not just Oracle, but also third-party applications. To show you what we can do here today, I'll have Suhas Ulier, our expert with Digital Assistant, come on stage.
Thank you, Amit.
All right. Welcome, Suhas.
Thank you.
Yes.
So before I show you some real cool stuff, the whole session is about the next big things, and we've always been doing the next big thing at Oracle. A couple of years ago, we started with mobile. We're now the leaders in the market. We did chatbots. We're now leader in the chatbot market. We've talked about digital assistants, and pretty much you can go to pretty much any booth out here or any session, and you'll be hearing about digital assistants. And so what we've been investing in is really sort of driving or pushing the envelope or driving the edge in terms of AI and immersive technologies, as you saw, and chatbots and digital assistant and all this really cool stuff. Last year we did image analytics or image analysis, voice UI. So what's next? We've done all of this, so what's next? So what's next, and to take a step back, we look at AI, and in my view, AI is still in its teenage years. And we see sort of this next couple of years where AI is going to go from being a teen to an adult, right? And we're going to see a lot more capability within AI. So what we see next in this evolution is really making AI more human-like, right? So giving it a persona, giving it a personality. And we're going to do this through real human-like avatars that have full knowledge of gestures, emotions, that can interact with the digital assistant to actually have a conversation with a human-like avatar. So let me show you what this looks like if the iPad isn't broken by now. All right. I think, again, we're all tethered here. It's amazing we live in the world of mobile, but we can't walk around. All right, here we go. So while this starts up, all right, let's move around a bit. So the use case here, hello, it's working? Okay. The use case here is something that we're all very used to, right? So how many of you here do mobile check-in when you go to a hotel? Quite a few. Isn't it funny you do mobile check-in, then you still stand in the queue, right, to get your keys, right? So imagine this world where you've done mobile check-in and you walk into any of your favorite hotels and you tap to call the concierge, right? And here we have the concierge here. I can move around. So there she is, right? So she's welcoming me here and she's telling me, welcome to Hotel Concierge. What would you like to do? And she says a lot more things, but that's it. So I'll say, I'm going to check in. She says, I found my reservation. She's so happy to see me. She's really happy to see me. And she says, give me my reservation code. I'll put my reservation code there. And she's telling me, great, you are an executive platinum here. And so she's going to give me an upgrade. And she's going to give me an awesome room with a view and all that, which is great. And she's still telling me all that while I paraphrased. OK, fine, I got it. So did everyone else. Just to show that I can, there we go. That's the room. I like it. Yep, reservation is correct. And she can go on. So I'm going to save you the torture of her, of not listening to her and listening to me instead. So, but you get the general idea, right? So basically, this is now a real-like, a human-like avatar that has full human demeanors, gestures. And what we've done is we've partnered with a company called Quantum Capture. So we go to the next slide, please. So Quantum Capture is a partner, and they actually have a booth right there. And actually, Rachel, the avatar, is talking there. So if you want to see a real-world working demo there, you can go there. But what Quantum Capture have done is they have a really large library of such avatars that you can choose from. And you can basically have your own style, hair color, eyes, human gestures, demeanors. So you can define how that avatar actually looks in your interactions. Not only that, they have sort of a studio where they have about 180 cameras, and you can just plonk yourself. They take all these pictures, and they have an amazing sort of set of technology where they use procedural animation techniques along with gesture capture or motion capture to be able to take all these different angles of you and your body and be able to apply that to and create these avatars. And then, of course, this is integrated with our digital assistant platform, which is sort of the interaction that I was trying to do. Unfortunately, the mic didn't work. So next year, this time, Amit and I are not going to be on stage. Hopefully, she can speak, and we figure out the audio here. But it'll be an avatar that's going to be doing the next big things. All right, with that, thanks.
No, I think this idea that she is supposed to be personalized concierge, she should not be talking to everybody else. That's the thing, right? So it's one-on-one. No, but thank you. I think this is just the idea that what are things possible, and you can imagine all the different things you can do with some of the technologies which are coming up. And none of these things would be possible, I think, if you guys are all familiar, AI and ML and data science is really the foundation behind a lot of these technologies we are investing in and provides you a lot of the capabilities with the data and the volume of things which have been generated. If you look at the value of data science specifically, 61% most significant data initiatives are happening now. And the amount of derived value from data science is around 5 trillion, given all the potential things you can do with it. And data science, of course, kind of combines a lot of things around deep learning, machine learning, and AI. And we recently also acquired a company called datascience.com, which provides you a lot of the management and the capabilities that data scientists need to be able to use some of this technology and get derived value from the data you generate and create as well. The challenges with that, of course, is, again, the skill sets in this area are very sparse, very hard to find. The tools and the technologies are still evolving, and trying to keep up with that is not that easy. The workflow and the collaboration capabilities are inefficient, where if you are going to have a data scientist building models, they want to share that information and share the models with a developer and put that as part of their pipeline and build applications on it. A lot of fragmented processes today and a lot of handoffs without automation around that today. And the development complexity, the whole idea of all the frameworks out there, a lot of open source technologies, what you choose, what you use in your specific domain is very tricky and sometimes cumbersome. A lot of new infrastructure stuff is also coming along in the GPUs. How do you leverage that? How do you get value out of that is also time-consuming. So to solve some of this problem, as I said, we acquired a company called datascience.com. The idea behind that is to provide a collaborative, open, integrated, enterprise-grade data science technology where you can do all of your life cycle around models, sharing and curating those things, as well as be able to version them and be able to evolve them very quickly and easily. You can also now build and deliver these models and the frameworks associated with that into your developer pipeline so any engineer can use it in the application they build. It all runs on top of the Oracle Cloud infrastructure, utilizes a lot of the work we're doing with NVIDIA in terms of optimizing and improving the performance for modeling, and integrates with the rest of our platform as well. Today, the data science offering is rated as a leader by Forrester, and they recognize the work we have done to really evolve this area and make sure it's end-to-end, providing all the capabilities you need for doing notebook-based predictive analytics, as well as machine learning. In very different domains as well, right? Financial services, there are a lot of use cases, retail, oil and gas, healthcare, and others, which are emerging very fast, where a lot of data has been generated, and you want to be able to use that in the applications you build. I'll have Ian Swanson, who joined us from datascience.com, to come on stage and show us some of the things they have been building.
Thanks, Amit.
Oh, welcome, Dave.
Data science done right is transformational for your business. Data science is about how do you extract insights from data and put those insights to action. And you do it through methods and techniques as machine learning, artificial intelligence, deep learning. I'm going to take you through a brief introduction of the Oracle Data Science Platform. If we can go to the screen, please. The Oracle Data Science Platform, as Amit said, it's collaborative, it's integrated, it's enterprise grade, and it's a platform that enables data scientists to easily get access to your data and infrastructure to build, train, deploy, and manage models all in the Oracle Cloud. There's many different use cases that span all industries and all functions within a business, and I'm logged in as a data scientist. The first screen that I see, I can choose a project. I'm going to log into the project that is in the hotel industry, and I see the objective. The objective here is we're going to explore data that's going to help us produce a model that can dynamically set the pricing of our hotel rooms. I can see my team's activity, because after all, data science done right is a team sport. So I can see what my team is doing. I can jump in and jump out of their work. I can deploy models, or I can open and launch a tool. So why don't we open a tool? So I'm going to launch a session. What I'm able to do is connect into a branch of files within my Git provider of choice, GitHub, Bitbucket, GitLab. Select those files. I'm going to name this Oracle OpenWorld. I write code. My language of choice is Python. So I'm going to select the most popular open source tool for developing machine learning models in Python called Jupyter. So I'm going to select Jupyter. And now I'm going to select my compute resources. This is the infrastructure that I'm going to use as I do my analysis and build my model. Now, I'm going to work with some small data, so I could choose a small machine. But I could also leverage all of the great compute shapes within Oracle Cloud infrastructure, such as GPU, if I would like to. I'm going to select an environment. An environment is a collection of libraries, dependencies, that saves data scientists time, so they don't have to install these one by one, but it also adds governance and reproducibility. So I'm going to select my environment. I'm going to hit launch. And what's happening right now is we're building this infrastructure. We're building essentially the container. We're putting the tool in there, Jupyter. We're connecting it to files within our Git repository. And we're also going to install all those dependencies, those libraries. And so we see that it's running. I can open my session. I'm connected into my files. So I'm going to click in here. I'm going to go into where I'm going to actually write some code. And so as this pops up, this is the open source tool Jupyter. This is the most popular tool for doing machine learning. And so I'm going to run all these cells, execute this code. And what you're going to see here is a place where a data scientist can write code, R, Python, Scala, to connect to data, explore data, build a model. So let's say I have built a model. And what I can see from this model is I want to make a prediction and really a suggestion here of how we should price our hotel rooms. And I actually see, here's the blue line, that if I use this dynamic pricing model, we're going to achieve more revenue. And so I'm ready to deploy this model. So I can shut down this container, and it's going to tell me, hey, you made some changes in the code, so I can actually follow best engineering practices and leverage Git and save my files. But in this case, I'm not going to save. I'm going to shut down. I'm going to go back into my project, and I'm ready to deploy a model. And here I see that model, this room rate API. Maybe I've deployed it through a Python SDK or through the UI itself, and I can feed it data. So in this case, I can feed it an arrival date, a departure date, hit run, and I get an output. So here's what we've done. We make it really easy for data scientists to be able to access compute power, get access to data, machine learning models, to build, train, and deploy models, in this case, as a really simple API. If I could go to the next slide, please. If we can go to the next slide. So the Oracle Data Science Platform, it really helps with the complete workflow and lifecycle for data science, where you can leverage machine learning, artificial intelligence, deep learning, models, libraries, frameworks, algorithms, all on our workbench to power data science success, to power digital transformation for your business. Thank you.
The next area we wanted to cover is blockchain. I think we could take a whole session on this by itself. The amount of interest and amount of work going on in this area is quite immense. I mean, if you look at all the numbers in this area, the global spend around blockchain is probably going to go by 10 times in the next 4 years, from 1.5 billion to around 11 billion. We're seeing a lot of business value being generated. Every company we speak to, large companies, looking at using blockchain in some way, form, or shape. It's going to change how you build applications, how you do distributed transactions, and manage all the different data as well. We're seeing the things in supply chain. We're seeing the things in healthcare, retail, in government sector. So the applicability of blockchain is quite immense across every industry. Again, the challenge is there, no doubt, the data confidentiality in terms of how you protect all the user information, especially in the enterprise-grade kind of applications. A lot of consortia have been formed where every industry is looking at creating an ecosystem with different partners. How do you manage the members? How do you manage policies, the channels, the chain codes? There are a lot of complications associated with that, as well as the flexibility in terms of how you deploy this both on-prem, hybrid, as well as across multiple standards out there in blockchain as well. The amount of innovation is so high, and things are changing so fast. How do you keep up with that as well? What we have done in this area is to create a service called Blockchain Cloud Service, which allows you to run this as a fully managed capability using Hyperledger Fabric. We provide that as a service on a public cloud. You can also run this anywhere else you choose to. We provide a set of APIs, abstracting out all the underlying blockchain complexity, so that when anything changes, you don't have to rewrite your applications. We connect that into all the different applications we provide at Oracle, as well as third-party systems. And then we are also making sure that it is open, using a lot of the latest technologies out there in the industry, and we keep on adding all the innovation we see in this space as well. We also have been using blockchain to build applications in this area. So at OpenWorld this year, we announced 4 different applications around intelligent track and trace, cold chain, lot lineage and provenance, and warranty and usage tracking. A lot of things around supply chain as the first starting point for us, which allows users to manage visibility across all the supply chain details they might have. We also integrating that into a lot of backend applications like our ERP, CRM, HCM systems, so that all the data associated with that can be available through these specific applications as well. They're ready to use, is using the blockchain platform to build these applications. You can expect a lot more over time as well. But this is a good starting point to kind of see how and what is possible in this area. To make this real, I'll have Harish Gaur from our product team come and show you some of these applications and what we have built so far. Welcome, Harish.
Thank you, Amit. As Amit mentioned, we launched industry's first blockchain SaaS applications at OpenWorld. So in this demo, what I'll show you is how a pharmaceutical company uses blockchain application from Oracle to track the shipment of drugs across its entire supply chain and to trace the authenticity of the drugs as it changes hands. So let's go and start the demo. What I'm seeing here is me as Visual Pharma, the founder of this blockchain network. I've logged into Oracle Blockchain Track and Trace application, and I can see my entire business network. On the left-hand side are my distributors, sorry, my suppliers and manufacturers. On the right-hand side are my distributors and customers. They all are connected through my transportation network. In this case, they are serviced by Zeta Carrier and Speedy Carrier. Every organization in this network has a copy of a distributed ledger. Every business transaction is recorded on a node in every ledger. And that's what gives this network the transparency. Let's take a look at the geospatial view. This shows me where my business partners are located. Right at the bottom, I see KPIs, which tell me there are 9 organizations in my network, purchase orders, sales orders, which have been executed through my network. Also, I see computed metrics. There's a 35% material rejection. 34% of my shipments are predicted to be delayed. This is calculated using inbuilt machine learning algorithms and artificial intelligence capabilities inside all blockchain applications. What catches my fancy here is this KPI. 4 out of 108 transactions have failed. And 2 of those transactions are right here at General Hospital, which happens to be my customer. Let's find out what happened. This is where I see all the batch of shipments which failed when they reached General Hospital. They all happen to be from the same supplier gamma distribution. You know, blockchain creates the trust in the network. So using Oracle blockchain application, we can perform non-disputable root cause analysis and isolate exactly where the problem occurred in the supply chain. So let's find out where the problem occurred with this batch 106. Let's do a trace back. This is a powerful view. In this view, I can clearly see that the product was rejected by General Hospital right over here. But what really happened? Why was it rejected? So let's go through the reverse chronological view of the transactions as they happened. So on the left side, I see all the transactions which happened. And on the right-hand side, I see the map of the shipment as it moved across my entire supply chain network. Let's go back up and see what happened. As I scroll down through this chain of custody, I clearly see that at this point in time, there was a tampering event detected. The door of the truck which was carrying the drug shipment by Zeta Carrier was opened. And that might have compromised the efficacy of the drug. That might have led to the rejection. Now, this is an IoT event. Blockchain and IoT are complementary technologies. Oracle blockchain application sits on top of Oracle IoT applications and tracks the health and the location of every physical asset which moves through this network. So let's look at the underlying IoT application to find out what really happened and which truck was responsible for it. I'll log into IoT Fleet Monitoring Cloud, which tracks the shipment location as well as the health of the trucks which are carrying the shipment from Zeta Carrier. And here I'm presented with the dashboard, and hopefully I'll see the truck which actually experienced the tampering. There is one open incident somewhere on the East Coast, and if I drill down further, there is a truck from Zeta Carrier which happens to be highlighted. And if I drill down here, this is exactly where I see the vitals of how the truck was behaving, its operational performance, like speed, engine RPM, engine temperature. At the same time, I also see there is an open incident which happened at 9:39 a.m. Today at 9:39 a.m., a tampering event was detected in this truck, which was carried by Zeta Carrier at this specific location. Okay, let's go back to the screen. One last policy I would like to address is blockchain, and blockchain is considered to be replacing the legacy application. That is entirely wrong. Let me give an example. Right over here, when the shipment departed and was picked up by Zeta Carrier, I could actually see the bill of lading. This bill of lading came from Logistics Cloud, Oracle Logistics Cloud. It could very well have been extracted from the transportation management system from a non-Oracle application. So just to summarize, I've used blockchain track and trace application to create a multi-tier visibility. And using the trust in the network, I have isolated the problem exactly inside my supply chain network. Thank you.
Thanks, Harish. So a lot of applicability in enterprise apps. So what we want to show you is a video of one of our customers, CargoSmart, in terms of what they're doing. Can you switch to the video, please?
People recognize that we are one of the market leader in technology application for shipment management.
Shippers all over the world are really looking at where their cargoes are, especially in the situation where you have disruptions. Many parties are managing their data in a silo, information sitting in different places. CargoSmart provide the capabilities for the customers to really track and trace their cargo.
Because there's so many different forms of document used to exchange the artifacts, it has been difficult in terms of relying on the document and people involved.
To solve our problem, we need to have trust and transparency. Oracle blockchain technologies actually provide that platform for us. We see 65% savings in time of handling paper documentations in shipments. The Oracle blockchain cloud technologies helps us provide in real time a single source of truth about shipments, helping us to transform the shipping industry.
All right. So we are lucky to have Lionel Louis from CargoSmart here as well. So Lionel, please come on stage and give us an idea of what you guys are doing with blockchain and Oracle.
Thank you, Amit.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Good afternoon. I think I need to put you in context with shipping, because it's a well-known, one of the largest industry that we encounter. It's about 180 billion industry, but you don't take it for granted in terms of all the goods that you see, all the merchandise you see at retail store, and everybody is using. So it's a huge industry, but there are a lot of dynamics, a lot of parties interacting day to day with this shipping data. So CargoSmart. So CargoSmart, when you distill it, we are three things. We have a very, very broad set of global data about shipping. To give you some examples, we are connected directly to our ocean carriers, 29, even 30 odd carriers integrations. We are track and trace every single movements of these vessels, 12,000 vessels all over the world, container vessels, tracking all their schedules, their plans, where they are going, and which port of calls that they're doing. Terminals, we have all this data. And one other areas that we put is about weathers, because weather systems nowadays is affecting a lot of the global transformations. Take the example of Hurricane Michael. So it's really disrupted a lot of the supply chain. So this is the core of the data that we get a hold of, and historical, and we apply a lot of our domain expertise in terms of understanding how carriers or vessels are being berthed, what are their plans, what route they take, etc. So domain expertise we are very good at in doing analyze. So we also added the technology facets of it. So we apply a lot of our machine learning and AI we just heard about, and analyze a lot of the models and predict a lot of the vessels' movements and predicting their arrival time, etc. So it gives us a very, very good core data capabilities or abilities to help with streamlining shipments. So one of the areas that we've focused on earlier this year is about blockchain. So we, in particular, talking about shipment documentations. Many parties are touching different documents. Many parties are relying on the documents about shipments to move on with their downstream processes. So we use blockchain to create that trust and create that transparencies for all our stakeholders. So be it carriers, be it forwarders, be it the shippers, or the warehouse, or the terminals, to decide or to make sure that they are streamlined in terms of all their processes. So we'll also add in the IoT capabilities on our vessels and containers, so we can actually track and trace every single vessels or containers, the conditions as well. So this is, in a nutshell, what CargoSmart do. So to give you in a context of the industry problems, I don't want to bore you with all these statistics, but a lot of problems in terms of, because in the video I mentioned fragmented data and delayed data. A lot of data, a lot of events are batched, so you don't get the most latest information. That's the problem. And it goes across, shipments usually goes across 3 weeks, 4 weeks, many things could happen. Weather systems could happen, port congestions will happen, vessels will break down, anything could happen. So there are a lot of disruption along that shipment cycle as well. So you have to have the good data to manage. So we use blockchain, and it's a evolutions. We don't think that we can right away jump in and say blockchain solves everything. So we started off on the very, very far left ends. We look at documentations, what we call titles. So be it invoice, purchase orders, or bill of ladings, we put those in the context and helping people manage these paperworks passing through along these value chains. So we also add in our events where our data comes in to help in real-time tracking all these events and populate it into the context of the blockchain. And then we can help to streamline processes. So where we can do automations, many of the streamlining of the business process management, et cetera, or approval processes, et cetera. So, and the ultimate goal, what we see is blockchain networks to be built to connect to each other. So shipping networks is one thing for marine transport. I think adjacent networks such as trade finance, freight insurance, and all those will be connected through blockchain and a trusted network of data. So that's our vision, and that's what we are trying to solve. We use Oracle blockchain technologies, and also our development methodology is agile. So usually we take 8 to 10 weeks or 12 weeks of sprints to build certain capabilities, MVPs, and then move on to add additional technology. So the blockchain and the cloud platforms provide us with that essential capabilities to help us with on-chain blockchain data management and off-chain data management as well. It helps us in terms of development efforts. It's helped us to reduce it almost 1/3 of the time that we need to develop with the open source or other type of technologies. And the end results, the business value that we project, is for all the shipment management of forwarders to handle all these documentations, reduction of 65% of the time that they have to handle these documents using our blockchain solutions. Thank you.
It's amazing. Thank you so much for coming by. We can use this whole session on blockchain, as I said earlier, so there's a lot of stuff going on there. The last section I want to quickly go through is around visual development and how we can make it much more productive for developers when they're building applications, especially mobile apps, the new AR, VR apps, and how do we make it very productive for those developers as well. The productivity is very low today when you're trying to do very manual code development. How do you auto-generate a lot of the code? How do you integrate a lot of the third-party applications as well as Oracle applications? And how do you really understand the enterprise context? And for that, what we have, and I'll quickly have JT come on stage and show you the visual builder experience in terms of how you improve the productivity, how you connect the different applications together, and make it a service as well. We have a lot of new components we are delivering. There's a whole component exchange available where you can share a lot of the data content as well as the code associated with that. And so, JT, why don't you come on stage and show us and walk us through some of the cool stuff we have done here.
Thank you, Amit. Yeah, those are some pretty amazing demos. And so as a developer, I want to be able to take some of this technology and add it to my apps. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a mobile application using Visual Builder. Visual Builder is a web development environment, JavaScript for web and mobile applications. And what we'd like to do is build a hotel application using all these technologies that we saw today. So first thing we need to do is we need to bring in a list of hotels. And so this is a drag and drop environment. We're grabbing web components off of a component palette, and we are interacting with the data that is provided by that web component. And we can quickly do this simply by dragging and dropping and using visual development techniques. Underneath, of course, standard JavaScript, HTML, and CSS is being delivered. So what I like to do now is just go into a live view, and we're going to add a detail page so that we can get a little bit more information on this hotel, including the GPS coordinates. Now I want those GPS coordinates because what I'd like to do is show my employee where that hotel is within the city that he'd like to go to. So in live mode, let's just pick something in Philadelphia here. I want to add a web component. So this web component doesn't come out of the box. Instead, I'm going to go out to our Exchange, and I'm going to go grab a web component, a Maps component, and download that. As you can see, there's about 100 components that are available to you. So let's go add that component into our component palette by installing it. And while that's getting installed, I'm going to go grab my API key to interact with that Google Map. And once that component is installed, I can just simply drag and drop it into my form, and that technology is now part of my application. There we go. So let's grab the Google Maps, just drag it into my form. We'll add that API key. And then we're going to want to provide the address as a GPS lat long into that address. And I do this by taking the data that's already bound to that variable and adding it into my page here. So there we are in Philadelphia. What I'd like to do now is take some of these other really cool technologies that we saw, like data science and trusted transactions through blockchain, and add that to my application. Well, we took that and we put it all into one component. And this is an example of a composite component where it's not just one control, it's several controls that I'll be connecting to. What I'd also like to do then quickly to talk to blockchain, actually I need to set up a couple pieces of information here. There's my token, and there's my endpoint. This is the endpoint that you saw Ian generate earlier. And then what I'd like to do now is take a button, and I'm going to add that button to my top here. And we're going to call it book, because once I get the rate that I like, I'm going to want to book it. And I do that by calling that REST API that is available to me in the blockchain environment. So I'm going to go select that endpoint, which is my blockchain booking transaction. And now I'm ready to get the rates and book the app. Finally, once all that's done, I'm going to want to integrate that concierge. So this concierge is a very complex component. It does the AR, it talks to the chatbot for me, and again, just one drag and drop, one component, all that technology just pops right in. And let me connect to it real quick. And there we go. So with just a few drag and drops, I've already built a mobile app. I integrated all this awesome technology that we saw today, and I can deploy that application through a traditional native package or through a progressive web app just by turning it on, running the application, and scanning the QR code. Thank you.
Thank you, JD.
Thank you, Amit.
It's amazing you didn't have to write a single line of code.
Not a single line today.
That was very nice. No, as you can see, I think that a lot of these things which you can bring together, and from Oracle's perspective, we've been trying to make sure there's ready-to-use all these technologies available to you. Everything we showed you today is available. Please go and try it out at the demo booths. You can sign up also at the cloud.oracle.com for trials. We're trying to make sure it's efficient, it's developer-friendly, and it's enterprise-grade. And who knows what is next, of course. So we'll continue doing existing stuff, but we keep on adding a lot of new technologies as well. So we're always going to be there with all the newer and cool gadgets as we see deem fit for the enterprise usage. Thank you all for attending. Have a great rest of OpenWorld. Thanks.